so you can go ahead. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending today. I hope you've been having a really wonderful summer. Let's go ahead and get started. This is our quarterly webinar. I'm glad you're here. We have a lot to cover today, and I want to respect your time, so let's jump right in. So, quick intro before we dive in. This is your first time here. My name is EJ Mina. I'm the product manager here at ClickMaint. I've been working in the CMMS space since 2016, and I lead product development and feature planning here. I've had the chance to do on-site audits with customers all over the world. Uh, Very excited to have people attend the training session today, and day in, day out, I enjoy building features for our CMMS product. I'm joined by Mel Motosh, our product enablement manager. Mel has over 10 years in CMMS and asset management and has personally trained thousands of maintenance technicians and facility leaders. So if you have questions about getting your team up and running on ClickMaint, Mel is your go-to person. Well, that is the last slide. We don't want to go to that one. Let me go back all the way to number 3. All right. So for anyone who's new to ClickMaint, we're headquartered in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and our leadership team brings over 40 years of combined experience in the CMMS space. We're a web-based and mobile CMMS, and your data is hosted securely in Canada and the US on AWS. We're consistently recognized for ease of use, fast time to value, and strong customer support, which is really what we've built the product around. If you're an existing customer, you already know this. And if you're evaluating us, that's the lens we want you to keep in mind as we walk through what's new today. So here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. First, we'll walk through a couple new major features. The first one being request comments on work orders, and then sending a request via email. And then the last one will be auto assign work orders by category. We'll cover some key enhancements that we've shipped over the past quarter. And then after that, I'll give you a preview of what's immediately coming up next on our roadmap. And then we'll wrap up with the short Q&A session. And if we don't get to your question live, we'll follow up with you after the session. All right. So first up is a feature called request comments on work orders. So picture a technician who just picked up a work order and they need more details. Maybe the request is just very vague, says something like AC isn't working, but the technician needs to know which unit, where it's located exactly, or whether this has happened before. So up until now, getting that information and getting that answer meant tracking down a phone number of the person or the email of the person, or even just finding them. And that conversation sometimes never makes it back into the system. So nobody else on the team, had context or information about, what happened there. But now with this new feature, the technician can add comments directly to the request from the work order. And the same can be done for the requester. They can reply to that request in exactly the same thread. So this means there's no more chasing down contact information or juggling side conversations outside of ClickMaint. It'll be faster for your technicians, and it'll leave a clean, permanent record of that back and forth attached to the request itself. So if another technician picks up the job later, or you need to pull someone in for an additional review, they can see exactly what was asked and already answered. So we're going to jump into a demo here, and I'll show you exactly how this works. As I walk through this, I'm going to be playing 3 different roles: the requester, the admin approving the request, and then the technician performing the work. So I'll be logging in and out along the way, but I'll be very clear to identify which role I'm at during each step. So we're going to log into the web app here. I'm just going to switch tabs. Okay. And from the login page, I'm first going to log in as a requester so we can start submitting a request. Go hit the sign in button. And then over here, I'm in the request panel, and I'm going to click on the new request button located in the top right corner. And let's do something simple. Let's do something like the break room fridge isn't cooling. And we'll type in a description. So there's no cooling from fridge. All right. And I'm just going to be very vague. Just type in the title and description, kind of leave it for the admin or requester to dig in to get some more information from us. So we'll hit save. And there's a request. It's pending. So next up, I'm going to sign in as the admin or whoever you might have on your team that reviews and approves the requests. So on my team, it's my administrator. So let's sign in as that person. All right. I'm here on the work orders page, but I manage my requests over here, also from the request panel. So I'll click this. We'll get rid of this last pass notification here. All right. So here's the request that was submitted. I don't have to click here. I can just click on the checkmark icon. Very quick shortcut here, and that takes me to the approve request window, and it'll create a new work order when you're approving a request. So I'm looking at this, break room fridge isn't cooling, description, and maybe I just want to add some other additional information here. Probably low priority. We'll just put in a category with, say, general maintenance. And then I'm going to assign it to my technician, Lawrence Taylor. All right, very simple. We'll hit save. So we've approved the request and the work order has been created. So if I click this button, that'll take us to the work order that's tied to the request. But now I do want to sign out and then sign in as a technician performing the work. So I'm just back at the login page and we're going to sign in as that person. All right. So let's filter this down just to the work orders that are assigned to me. And we're going to click on this first one here. And as I'm looking at this, there's not a lot of context here. I don't really know where it is. And I, could probably just go ask the person or ask the admin. But what I'm going to do here is at the bottom, there's now a new panel called request comments. So this is different than the work order comments. Any comments that are added here, they go to the request, and then any comments that are here, they stay internal. So if you need to have some dialogue with your admin, anything that's added over here stays on the work order. But if you need to communicate with the requester, that's done through here. So what I'm going to do is click on the add comment button, and we'll say, which refrigerator is it? Okay. And then the flow is exactly the same. It's very familiar. You can add an image as needed, and then you hit the save button. Now, what happens here? So for your requesters that submit requests, they'll get a notification that somebody has commented on the request. So I won't show you that email just to save time here. But as I sign out and switch over to the requester, we'll find the request. So you can see here that the technician has added a comment. So I'm going to just go ahead and say it is the silver one. So you can see there's basically the beginning of a back and forth dialogue directly inside of the application. And we won't go too much back and forth. Let's just switch over to the technician now because I've got enough context. So I'm back at the work order, and you can see here that I've got the dialogue, the last message from that requester. Okay, so from there, I can just go ahead and add more details before I start the work. So I know it's the silver one. I'm just going to go ahead and type in the asset. I just have one fridge in my entity. It's in the break room, and I'll hit save. Okay. I'm not going to go through the exact flow of how to complete the work order. We have a lot of awesome training sessions about how to do that. But I do want to point out another thing that you want to turn on. So if you need to get notifications about any requests that you've been uh, conversating along, you'll want to go over to your profile and then go over to notification settings and then make sure that you have this toggle called request threads that I have replied to. And then anytime that someone leaves another comment on any request that you've sent a message on and anyone that you've, you know, been assigned to on a work order, you'll get that information. I will show you quickly. I believe actually I do have a copy of what that notification looks like. Here's just a quick example here. This is the notification that came from the requester. They replied here, and this will look the same if you're working on the mobile app as well too. So just very, very simple to understand. With this feature now, you don't have to go out of the ClickMaint app on web or mobile. It's going to save you time and you can do all the communication directly right from the work order inside of the app. All right. So that's the first request feature that I'm going to present today. The next one we're going to discuss is the email feature. So we'll switch over. So sending a request via email. So but prior to this feature, when you're submitting a request, you've always had to log into either like the application and fill out the request form, or you've needed to fill out the request portal form. Sometimes that might be, just enough friction that people don't want to even use it. But now we've added another method to submit requests. This is allowing emails for any of your request portals. So very simple. When you enable this feature, ClickMaint will generate a dedicated email address for your request portal. And then from that point on, you can share that email address with anyone in your organization, and it will become a new request automatically. The subject line that you enter in your email will become the request title, and the body becomes the description. So there's no login, there's no form, there's nothing new to learn aside from just telling people how to send emails, but it's the fastest way to get something on your radar. So very simple, probably will be a short demo, but we're going to go through just all of the steps on how to set it up. All right. So I'll be playing two roles here. The first one is going to be the admin user because we want to set this up. So, and the second one will be the requester, obviously sending the email. So let's just sign out here. And I'll sign in as the administrator again. Okay, so the very first thing I'll call out is that there is a new setting that you can adjust and set within your entity. So you want to go over here to the admin settings, and then under company name, you'll notice a brand new field called company identifier. This is the field that we use to generate the email address associated with your request portals. You can type in whatever you want here. So something like that, Winnipeg Tech. And then you'll notice at the end here, it's tagged on with a unique identifier. This is like a secure key so that it helps your tenant, your entity, avoid any duplication across the different accounts that we have in our system. Okay. I've already set it, so I'm not going to save any of this just so it's less confusing, but we'll come back to it right after. And we'll click continue. Okay. So yeah, I've got my company identifier set. And then the next thing we want to do is head over to the Manage Modules tab. And then we'll go to Request Portals. If this is your first time seeing this page, this is where you can create one or more request portals for any of the entities that you have. So over in the top right corner, we're going to hit the Request Portal button. And then in this new form here, or whether you're editing an existing one, for many of you who do have request portals, you might just be going to edit the existing one. Look for the toggle that says Enable Email Intake. And then once you turn this on, it'll tell you that your portal email will automatically be generated from your portal title and your tenant identifier. So what that will look like if we say, we'll name this like Johnson Help Desk. Your email address will be a combination of your portal title and then the company identifier that I just previously showed you. I do have another field I need to add here. So let's say description. So this is Johnson General Help Desk. Okay. And then I need to pick the entity, pick Johnson. Um, these are the other fields that you can enable and set for your portal. If you have any questions, we do have lots of great documentations and videos about how to quickly set up a request portal. So please check those out. But for today's purposes, I'll just go ahead and save this one. All right. So we're looking at this row over here. And then you can see here that I've got my portal email. I can copy it with this quick button, or if I'm viewing the details of maybe an existing portal and I've turned the toggle on, it's also right here. Okay. This link below, this has always been there since we've rolled out the product. That's the link for the request portal itself. But sorry, my smart speaker just went off. But yeah, we're going to copy this email address and let's go ahead and put it to use. Okay. So I'm going to switch over to my Gmail now. And what I'll do here is I'm going to hit the compose button. And I'll try and make this bigger for everyone to see. So what we'll do is take that email address, and that's going to be who we're sending it to. So you can send this out to your staff, your organization, and say, hey, our request portal now has a new email address. So please make sure that you save this. It's something that you can quickly use and ask for help. So I'm going to type in something into the subject line. We'll report that my desk is wobbly. Wobbly desk. And then I'll just add in a quick description here in the body. So my desk is wobbly on the right side. Okay. A couple key things I do want to point out. So as of right now, we don't support attachments yet, and we don't support mapping to any specific asset or locations automatically. So keep in mind when you do submit the request and you have to review it, you'll have to just pick whatever you're going to be associating it to. And then also another pro tip, we do recommend stripping out the signature. Signatures have a lot of different variations in everyone's email, and sometimes it might format differently when the request comes through. The simplest thing you can do is just strip out anything fancy, right? You don't even have to put your name because that'll appear with your email address, but you can submit it as simple as this right here. Okay, so I'm going to click the send button and we'll give it a couple seconds and we'll wait for it to hit the click Maint backend so that it can appear in your request list. And while we wait, let's just go back over here and we'll keep an eye on this request tab to check to see if it's there. Okay, that was quick. All right. So here's the request. Let's open this up. Okay, you can see who it was sent by. And then you can see here that the email subject is now the title. And then the body of the email is the description of the request. From there, you can go ahead and approve it, add any information that you need, and create the work order just like you normally do when you're approving a request. So very simple, but hopefully very powerful for your team. No need to go to a request portal anymore, and no need to even log into the app again as well, just to go to the request form. A couple key things. Another thing I do want to mention. We do also have like a safeguard, a bounce back. So sometimes, if you send in a request via email, you just send a request, you may not actually know if it went through. So we will send a bounce back email if it fails. So you don't have to worry about someone saying, hey, did you receive my request? We'll always send something back to your requester so they know if that request bounced or not. Some examples, if you do leave out the subject in your email, or if you leave the body empty, that's when we'll fire back a bounce back email and it'll say, please submit it again or contact your administrator If you do have any other issues or questions, you can contact us. But very simple feature. Please give it a shot. It's available for everybody today. If you are ever in a state where you're going to be changing your company identifier, this is very important to know so you don't have people sending emails to the wrong address. So as you can see, I already have a bunch of portals set up. They have email addresses, but for whatever reason, my team has decided that we want to change the company identifier. So if I say, let's call this like Winnipeg Tech 123, and I've got the identifier there. This is just a quick notification that will tell you, hey, this will also change the email address for the other portals you have active. So please notify any user who's, maybe bookmarked this or saved it. And you can always have your request come through. All right, so that's request via email. Again, available today. Please check it out and let us know if you have any feedback on it. All right, moving on to our next feature. This one is not request related. This is more applicable to work orders and technicians. This is auto assign work orders by category. So if you have a team and they're split across specialties, you know that assigning work orders isn't always simple. Someone has to know like which person works in what category, and if that person is out, the work might sit unassigned. So the way that this feature works, very simple but very powerful. You can assign each of your technicians with the categories they belong to, say electrical or HVAC. It's not quite the full out Teams feature, but it's essentially adding your technicians to a specific category that they specialize in, and they can quickly get the work orders that belong to them. Once that's set, click Maint will automatically assign those techs whenever a work order comes in tagged with that work order category, and then it'll put that right into the assigned to field. So this will help you if you're a dispatcher. You don't really have to remember who does what. All you have to do is pick the category, and the system does the rest of the work for you. So let's go ahead and jump into the demo here. This one is all done from the administration side. So no switching roles this time. I'll just do a quick walkthrough of how you set up your categories and watching the assignment happen automatically. If you haven't set up a category in your ClickMaint yet, that's done over here in admin settings, manage modules. Look under reference lists. This is where we can contain different lists like asset types, part types, and categories and more. So you can click here, and then you can add as many categories as you need to. So if you just click this, you can type in something like refrigeration. Oops. And then you can select individual entities, or you can pick all of them that you want to assign them to. Okay. I'll click cancel because I don't want to change any of my my categories right now. Then from here, I've got my category set up. What we want to do is go to the work orders settings module. And you need to make sure that you enable this new toggle called auto assign. This is basically the setting that works behind the scenes to make sure all of this happens for you. Okay. Enable this on, and it'll auto assign users to the work order based on the work order category. Once that's set, you can pivot over to your users list over here in all users. And then we can find the particular person or people that we want to start adding to work categories. So here's Lawrence Taylor, for example. There's an assigned categories, and you can assign one or more categories to Lawrence Taylor. But before you do that, the key thing that you want to make sure that you do is in the edit profile section. Generally, you set this up from the start. When you start adding your users, your technicians, or whoever they might be, you'll turn on this toggle here that says can be assigned to work orders. So previously that just controlled their visibility as someone that you can assign to, but now we've also added on the assign categories permission. So please make sure you do have this set before you start adding categories to each of your technicians. So that's already on. So we'll go back now to the profile window and we'll tap assign categories. And here you'll be able to see all of the categories in your entity. And then you can go ahead and start adding them to your technician. Lawrence here works in electrical, emergency services, and fire service, but I can start adding more as needed. And then I can hit the save button. So if you have like an HVAC team, electrical team, this is kind of where you go to get all of that set up. All right. Do that for as many users as you have in your entity that do work on work orders. And then from there, it's really just on autopilot now from when you create work orders or do anything that's related to work. So I'll go over here to the work orders tab. All right. We'll hit the add work order button. Okay, let's add some details here. Let's do something simple. Fix the light. And here, when you hit the category dropdown, as soon as you pick the category, you'll notice that you have your technicians appear in the list. And if you don't, want to assign the work order to everybody in that dropdown, you don't have to. Just hit the remove button, and that'll quickly remove anyone else that doesn't have to be there. So very simple. This also extends to if you're creating a PM or if you're approving a request. So here, for example, if I've got this request here for this wobbly desk, and this probably won't be an emergency service, but just to show you an example, if I'm at the point of approving the request and I hit that category, it's already handpicked people that belong to that team. All right, so very simple. Please get your technician set up with work categories so you have less clicking to do when you're approving requests or creating work orders. And this is available today. So please let us know if you have any feedback once you try it out. All right. We'll move on to the next slide here. Oh, my window is not letting me click there. There we are. Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, these features are available now. We've had the request comments on work orders available for a little bit over a month now. The send request via email a couple weeks ago. Auto assign, I just turned it on first thing this morning. So if you're signing on for the first time, please check that out. And whatever feedback you might have, you can send us your feedback through your CSM, our Canny portal, where we'd love to see what kind of feedback and ideas you have for our application, or any other method to let us know, what might be missing or how things can be made better. So please give us a shout. Okay, so now I'm going to run through some other enhancements that we've released over the past quarter. A lot of these actually have come from direct feedback from customers like you. So excited to announce them, I guess, if you haven't been kept up to date with some new changes here. So the first one is for downtime improvements. And this one is for anyone who logs downtime on assets. So sometimes mistake happens. Maybe a downtime event gets logged incorrectly with the wrong start time, or maybe you just need to adjust your event time after the fact. So we've added the ability now to edit or backdate a downtime event directly. And then the system will also check for things like overlapping events, so you don't have downtime overlapping other previous downtime, which is not really a thing that you can do, or an end time in the future. You can't really end downtime in the future because we're not there yet. So there's safety guards here to make sure that your data is going to be safe. And then we've also added the ability to even delete downtime as needed. Maybe someone reported downtime on an asset when they created the work order, but you didn't want to have that record added. You can just simply hit the delete button and it won't be there anymore. At the end of this will help your downtime data and the reports that we use to get that data stay accurate, even if you need a correction after the fact. So this is available now. Please check it out. Hopefully you don't have to use it too much, but it's available there if you need to, edit any of your downtime. Second one, this one we just turned on today. This is improved history logs for your work order time entries. So this one is really for anyone who needs to account for like labor hours, labor time on a work order. So previously, if you're a technician, they've logged time, added, edited, or removed time from a work order. There was no clear entry or record of it from the work order and what that original entry looked like or who made the change. So we've added an improvement here. If you go to the history tab in the work orders, you can see a very clear audit trail of who did what, when, and what changed. So you can see here that anywhere from like assigning, obviously creating the work order, but then time added for each particular person and by who is now more visible. What's not pictured here, if you're an administrator, we've also added the ability to see costs in this view. So it'll look slightly different from an admin role. But overall, you just have, a better paper trail of what's going on with time on your work order. In addition to this, we do have that lead technician role that we just recently rolled out. We've added more functionality for that role. Previously, they were just able to add others to work orders, but now we've added the ability for them to add edit time for other people assigned to the work order. So if that's something that you need, it's something that you would like your technicians to do, they now have the ability to do so. Next up is the is within filter. So as you know, searching and filtering across ClickMaint is very powerful. There's more than one way to get one set of results that you're looking for. So how this works is previously, if you were filtering by like a location or asset, it would only match that exact record. If you wanted to have everything underneath like a building, you would have to filter each floor or one room at a time. So now we've added this new filter called is within. It's an option anytime you're filtering for an asset or location in any of the modules that allow them to do so, like work orders or locations or assets or parts. As soon as you hit the top level record, so like this air handling unit, everything that falls under that air handling unit, whether it's like another subcomponent of the air handling unit, that'll be visible as part of the results as well too. So what might seem like a small change, something that will actually help you quite a bit. Got a ton of feedback on this. It'll save people a lot more clicks, a lot more time for anyone who's just trying to see the entire full picture across the entity and their assets. So if your team manages a lot of nested locations or assets, this is something that we recommend you try out. Next up, we've added an improvement to the location cards. So now we've added the ability to see all assets that are associated to the location, including any sub assets. So previously, you'd have to go to your locations card or your assets card to see the assets, but now you can see everything in just one view without having to navigate elsewhere. What this means is that you don't really have to go to the locations page anymore. Sorry, the assets page anymore. You can go right to your location, whether it's like the first floor or this location is a feed mill. You can go to the asset section in the card, and then you can quickly click on the asset name. That'll take you right to the asset detail where you can do things like look at details of the asset, or most commonly use create a work order right from the asset. So one small improvement, but really just saving you a ton of clicks so you can get to where you need to be much faster than you were before. Keep an eye out for new updates like this as we go along the way to figure out, okay, what can we get in there quickly to help our users get the best experience. Here's another one that's very related to that as well too. It's mobile parts work order scanning. So this will help for anyone who is working on the field using ClickMaint mobile app. So if you were using this prior to this update, when you're on a work order, when you're adding a part, you have to look through an entire list. And that could be very time consuming, especially if you have a big storeroom. But now what you can do, if you're right in the work order, you can hit the cost and time tab and you can hit a new QR code icon that's at the bottom of your screen in the corner. When you hit that, just grab your part, QR code, scan it, and then it'll automatically add it to your work order. So it's a little bit faster, but more importantly, you can ensure that you're always getting the right part added to the work order at each time. So if they're technicians, if they handle a lot of parts in the field, I would recommend training them to start using the QR code scanning ability rather than going through a long list to add. All right. Those are just a quick rundown of everything released over the past quarter. We do have a lot actually that we've released more, but those are the ones that I wanted to highlight. Moving on to upcoming features and enhancements. So the first one I'll call out is meters. So meters is very, very common. This lets you track usage data like runtime hours or mileage on an asset, and that'll trigger PMs based off usage versus just the calendar date. So where we're at right now, we've actually made really, really fantastic progress. There's no exact release date right now, but we're getting very close to being able to share it with our customers, and we do expect it to be available this year. So as soon as we have an update, we'll share them. And if you're ever interested in like participating in a beta or kind of just seeing what it looks like early, don't hesitate to ask your CSM, and we'll be happy to share it with you. The next one is offline mode for mobile. So oftentimes your technicians that are working in areas that have, spotty signal or no signal, we want to be able to allow them to keep working within the application. And then when they come back online, all of their work order will sync automatically once they're back. So we just wrapped up scoping requirements for it. Development will be starting in the next 1 or 2 months. At this time right now, I don't have an exact release date. We get closer to that as we start it, but this is something that we're going to be starting this year, and we'll have an update as soon as possible. And then our third one is our Zapier integration. So we recently, I guess the first quarter of the year, we released the external API for ClickMaint. When you're integrating your external system, if you don't have a developer or someone who's technical that can help you with the integration, you might be kind of stuck in terms of, hey, how do I integrate this app with ClickMaint? We're now building an integration with Zapier. Zapier is probably one of the most popular platforms that has thousands of integrations. Let's say that you want to have an integration between Outlook and ClickMaint. That'll be possible through the Zapier integration. So you don't have to outsource a developer. Zapier's platform is very simple to use, and we're supporting that with new ClickMaint app in that platform. So when this is done, we'll let everybody know. We'll have documentation, and we'll definitely walk you through how to set that up as well too. If any of these make a big difference for your team, please let your CSM know as well. Customer feedback directly shapes what we prioritize next. All right, we're getting close to the finish time here. We do have a poll we want to ask as well, but let's open up for Q&A. We'll take a look to see if anyone come in. Actually, I guess maybe let's do this. Let's ask, pull up the poll first. So you should see in the channel here a couple questions. First one is, are you interested in beta testing any upcoming features? Second one is, would you like your customer success manager to reach out to you regarding SSO for your company? That's a feature that we just recently released. I didn't highlight it today, but it's something that I just wanted to showcase here. And then, would you like to leave a G2 review and get a $35 gift card? And would you like to add more users or upgrade your subscription? So we'll give a moment here for our attendees to fill that out. All right, so let's carry on here. I'm not sure if it's been completely answered by everybody. We'll go back to the questions panel here. Okay, yeah, I think we're good on the poll here. So let's look at the questions here. Can I attach a photo to a request I'm sending in by email? So, yeah, just to repeat, not right now. So attachments aren't supported by email submitted request. You can submit attachments through like the request portal or through the request form when you log in. Ultimately, if you are going to be using the email request more than others, you would just have to add the photo after the fact as a comment to the request. What if a part doesn't have a QR code yet? So I think that relates to the scanning feature. You can still add it manually from the parts list, but I would honestly probably recommend set up QR codes. We have them available for more than just parts, and that makes using the app a lot faster, the mobile app a lot faster when you have to create or add to work orders. Does every entity or does every entity get its own email address, or is it for the whole account? Yeah, so it's per request portal. So as you saw, I did have about 6 request portals for my entity. Each of those will have their own unique email address. So that's why it's important if you ever do make a change, just make sure that any one of those email addresses gets, I guess, communicated that the email address has been updated. Do I need a special scanner for the mobile part scanning feature? No. Just use your phone's camera. So whether you're using like iPhone or Android, you don't need any extra hardware. It's built into the app. What happens if no technician is assigned to the category I select? So it's pretty simple. If you don't have any technicians assigned to the category that you assign to the work order, the system just won't populate anyone for that field. But again, to save you time trying to track people down to do the work, we highly recommend setting up work categories for your technicians. When will meters be available? It's a good question. Yeah, as mentioned, we don't have an exact release date yet, but I can tell you we have already added the ability to create a meter reading, to create a meter, record meter readings. And right now we're actually in the process of setting up meter-based PM. So there are a couple more modules that we need to add. Like for example, if you have a procedure and you want to add a meter reading there, that's something still for us to do. It's an active development. As we get closer to the finish line, I'll be able to provide a more accurate release date. We'll be starting out with the beta. So if it is a priority for your team, please let your CSM know, and we look forward to having our customers beta it before releasing it to everybody. Which parts of the app support the is within filter? So specifically, that would apply to work orders, assets, requests, PM schedules. It's not available yet for reports. We are making some changes actually to the entire system. One thing that has been widely requested, and we've made comments on it in previous webinars, is the ability to see data across the entire enterprise. So we're actually working on that right now. I mentioned it last webinar, which is why I didn't want to mention it again, but we're in the process of giving you the ability to view data from work orders from all of your entities in one view, and then the same would go for reports and all of the other modules. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. The is within filter will be available when you're doing multi-entity data searching. Does ClickMate integrate with accounting software like QuickBooks? We don't currently have a direct integration, but that's what the Zapier integration is for. So once we get to that point, you can do the integration that's listed in the Zapier marketplace. QuickBooks would be one of them. Can I customize which fields show up or are required on a work order? Yes, you can actually go to the admin settings, manage modules for work orders, and then you can customize what fields are visible or are required. It's basically how your team works, or you can tailor it specifically to how your team works. I guess probably two more. Do you offer training for new users getting started? We do actually, yeah. So we do have a monthly training session held by Mel, who's with us today. We post those in advance in Intercom, which is in the app. You'll get a notification letting you know when we have those. They're different topics every month, and we get very detailed on them. So today, for example, we're kind of just giving you a very quick rundown of how certain features work, but in those training sessions, we really drill down in like how you can best utilize it for your entity. And ultimately, if you do want to have more training, please reach out to your CSM. I guess last question. Let's see here. I'm trying to pick out the best one. Is there a limit to how many assets or work orders we can have in the system? Nope, no hard limit. So you can have as many as you like. The system is built to scale with your operation. All right. Um, yeah, that's it for our webinar today. Again, thank you for attending. Um, if you're a current customer, again, both of the requester updates and auto assign by work order category features are available in your account. So log in after this call, check them out. If you need a hands-on walkthrough, reach out to us through the in-app chat or contact your CSM. If you're new to ClickMate and you're evaluating what you saw today, um, please let us know and we'd be happy to set up a one-to-one demo tailored to your specific needs. And everyone who registered for the webinar today will get a recording of the session along with any links to our help center and release notes. But big thank you again for attending today. Have a really wonderful summer and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.